Hello. Crack repair. That's what this video is going to be about. We're going to need a couple things to do this crack repair. We will need tapered plugs. So these are tapered plugs that we're going to be installing almost one at a time. We're going to need a drill bit to drill the holes. We're going to need a tapered tap to tap the holes. And of course, as we install each one of these plugs, we're going to install it with JB Weld to go along with it, just in case if there is any area or spaces between the plugs that JB Weld covers it. We will definitely at the end grind everything nice and flat, and then eventually we'll put a new seat in this, because as you can see, I marked down here, the crack and the repair starts off at this end, which is inside the combustion chamber, and goes and goes all the way down the exhaust port. All the way down exhaust port. So we will have to do a series of holes, and they would have to be roughly this diameter. So, and we'll definitely have to overlap holes. So the first hole that we're going to be placing is going to be right around here. Then we're going to place the next one right about there. The reason why we're doing it is that after we install the couple plugs in there, we will cut off the plugs, grind them flat, and then drill a hole in the center between the plugs. Of course, we're going to have to do that on both ends, and also to stop the crack from continuing, the first two holes are going to have to be at the end of the cracks. This would be one end of the crack down here. The other end of the crack I already center punched. It's down in the hole there. Of course, drilling it easiest will be from the port down. So down in there. And then we're going to go one at a time. Some of them will not be a simple thing to show. Some of them will not be very straight. Will come from the top. Will come from every angle possible, overlapping them. All right. So let me, I do have JB Weld here. I do have most of the things. Let me get set up, and I will be back to show you everything. All right, welcome back. I did get the drill. I got electric drill today here with me. I do have the bit that came with it, with this whole kit. A couple things to understand about it is this drill bit does come designed purposely for the smallest end of the plug. The reason for that is sometimes you can't drive the plug all the way to the bottom, meaning that the material behind it is just not too deep. So as I told you before, I do have the center punched hole inside the port. I'm going to center punch this one over here. And there's a crack. There's a center punch. So cast iron does center punch very, very easy. And we're going to go in and drill this hole. All right, we're going to use some cutting lubricant to cool off the drill. Don't have to, it's cast iron. Oops. Slowly and surely going in. Alright. The metal could be pretty thick in certain areas, so And there you go, we went through. Wow, we even snapped the drill bit. So as you can see, once in a while you reach the end and you could cause a little bit of more harm. We're not going to give up. I'm going to go get some pliers and get this drill out. There it goes, the drill is out. It's not that hard. Something to understand is that the material behind it could be not straight and it could catch the drill bit. So because I definitely destroyed this drill bit, I'm just going to go have to find the same size drill bit. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So definitely not going to go back into that hole. I'm going to drill the other ones and we'll come back and tap that hole. So as you can see, it's very critical to roughly know what's behind it. Alright, let's go into a different hole. So we're going to go do that one. That one should be easier. Alright. Alright. We're in. Probably the drill bit that I originally got was not the greatest drill bit. So let me try going through this hole again. Nope, there's definitely something stopping the drill bit inside. So we're not going to go in there anymore. Alright, so we definitely drilled the holes on both sides. Blow it out. We're going to go and tap the holes. Tapping, I will be using some cutting oil, just a little bit on the tip, and we're just going to go in and tap the opening. Sometimes you can use different components, so holes are not that hard to tap, so we're going to go. That's fair. We're in a couple threads. Definitely some of these are not going to be able to go in deep, so don't get that. Cleaned off the cutter. Let's go again. Let's try this one. Cast iron is very soft, so it's not that hard to do this. Alright. Now it's stopping. I'm not going to go any further. Don't want to break this tapered tap because I definitely don't have any extra ones. Drill bit's easy to find, taps not really. Alright, so drilled and tapped. That's where the plugs are going to go. The plug is going to go like that. Of course, we'll definitely clean it off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and drill the next hole. So I'm going to pre-drill multiple holes because if I do mix JB weld, it's going to set pretty quickly. So let's do some more center punching. So I have a series of holes. So. Next one about there. I'm going to do one right about there. Alright, so definitely there. Center punch too short for some other ones. Right about there. And we'll see how it goes on. So So let's go in and drill some of these holes. All right, next one. Definitely should have better control of the drill, but I am trying to keep the head a specific angle so you guys can see. So. Going in pretty deep. Zip. Definitely fell in. All right, well, let's do another hole. Yep. All right, so we're going to do a hole right about there. Right. So first I'm drilling through the port. I might have to counter drill the other direction after I'm right. Let's add just some lubricant in there. It goes. Definitely went through to an empty passage. All right, so we got a couple holes. All right, let's drill a couple more. Let's drill this one right here. All right, went right through. All right. So, as you can see, we're drilling holes along, and we're going to go in and tap most of the holes. Some of them we'll have to insert the plugs and then go back and drill again. So I know that I'm probably going to put in this one first, since I already tapped it. I'm going to put in the other one second. They definitely go into slightly different areas, and then I'm just going to run a drill back into it. So to do that, first I will definitely have to use some kind of cleaner. Parts washer, parts brake cleaner works just fine, so get rid of all the oil. JB Weld doesn't stick very well to oils, so air it out. We're going to grab some JB Weld, and we're going to mix some JB Weld. Sorry, wrong way. All right. We don't need much. Let me go grab some JB Weld. I'll be back. All right, now I'm back. I got some JB Weld. It's a two-part piece. So, a brand new tube. So, if you didn't know, the caps do have a puncture tool right in them. All right, so we're gonna put a layer of the black tube. Open up the red tube. Put a bead. You do mix them evenly, 50-50. All right. So mix JB Weld. You don't need much. All right. Make sure that your plugs are nice and clean and oil free. If you don't know if they are, clean them with brake cleaner, parts washer. All right, and make sure the brake cleaner doesn't stay there, so air it out. All right. Put on JB Weld on a plug, and don't forget we already tapped a couple of these holes, so there it goes. I have a T-handle to use for this, so I'm gonna go in. Doesn't have to be Gorilla tight, but nice and tight. All right, that plug is in. Let's go for the next one, the one inside the port. Alright, inside the port is probably going to be easier. Put it in a tool. Alright, as you can see, I'm putting the other plug on the inside. Alright, plug is in. This plug is also in. I'm going to immediately clean my pocket screwdriver, so I don't get any debris on there. Alright. Really quick, I know that the center one shouldn't be in any way. Nope, it's going to be in some way. Alright. So drill real quick, and next one. Alright, it goes right in. Tap the next hole. Alright. Let's I already had another pin ready to go. So JB Weld right on the pin. JB Weld right on the pin. And drive that pin in. Alright, that pin is in. Alright, pretty much very hard to see, but you can see as soon as I put this plug in, you can see the threads inside the adjacent hole. So look, as I turn this, you'll see the bolt able to turn inside. Alright, so that means that we will definitely have to re-drill that one, drilling into this particular pin. Alright. We definitely have a couple more holes, and we'll take a look at those. I am almost out of JB Weld, and yep, we won't be able to do those till we cut the existing pins off. But I can definitely drill this one down. All right. Yep. We're in. That might have been a little bit too fast for cast iron, but we're definitely in. So cleaner now. JB Weld is still not 100% cured, so we can definitely go in and tap this hole. So as we're doing this, we're actually interlocking the pins together. It's very hard to understand how you would have to space them. So a lot of times you end up overusing the pins because you either drive them further down or anything else. All right, that's in. All right, here we are. And another pin. More JB Weld. Apply it onto the pin. All right. Line up the pin. All right, those are in. Next, we're going to chop off all of these pins. The way we're going to do it is an air grinder. We got more than 50% through it, so it will just snap right off. And that was the first one we just got rid of. All right, let's go for the next one. Most of the way through, snaps right off. Seems like most of the way through, and snaps right off. All right, the one in there is going to be the hard one. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to a slightly different bit. The smallest cutter you have. It is cast iron. It's not that hard to get through it. So we're going to cut it out with this. yeah, this is gonna take a while, so let me go find if I have a smaller cutter so I can actually just get right through that. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I did find a much smaller bit. Yep, it only helps if you retighten the bit correctly. All right. I guess today it's Murphy's Law. If it can't go wrong, it will go wrong. I'll be back. All right, we reassembled it. Let's try it again. All right. Nope. Alright, still wants to turn a little bit, so JB weld is not dry, it's fine. We can definitely give it another quarter turn. There's nothing wrong with that. Alright, let's add more. Let's see if it snaps now. Yep, snaps right off. Beautiful. We'll definitely go back in and clean it with a bigger carbide instead of cutting it. So we'll definitely do that. Alright, so before we go on to the next step, first of all, you probably see that it made a huge mess. That air grinder was not the best one, so we'll definitely clean off the whole section. Let it sit there a little bit and then blow it off. I do have two air hoses here. One of them is a low pressure, one is high pressure. Alright. So now time to trim most of these. As you can see, trims it much faster. All right, we're down. Alright, we can go down in the plate. Alright. What you will see is that we definitely cleaned it up. Nice and clean. Inside the port, we got rid of most of the heads. They're now just little round stubs. This is the only one to clean off down low. So this is going to be very hard to clean, so I'm just going to grab a grinding wheel and clean it off. Definitely clean all that up. Alright, so what happens next is so far we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 pins. So we can definitely get rid of any maybe hot metal out of there. So we definitely used 4 pins. 1, 2, 3, 4. We definitely have a hole still in there. So we're going to go back and drill that hole because as we were putting pins in, they were actually now in our way. So we're going to go in and drill that hole. That was one of the original holes we drilled. So So this one right here. Definitely catches a drill bit. Not a good sign. Alright. We won't be able to put the plug far, but it's totally fine. We don't really need to be able to put it far. Any distance will make it work. It doesn't look like it's gonna grab. So I need to find a socket that I can use on this square. Alright, I'm gonna go grab a square socket so I can use it and drive it there. Alright, square socket, 3/8. And this plug is definitely not going to go in far because it's going the opposite direction as the plugs we put from the top, from the front. Alright. Alright. Alright, stops. Nice. That's it. Let's get rid of the metal. Metal is gone, so now we're going to need to put a plug in there. Another plug. Sometimes having extra cardboard does help. So, because you're constantly drilling, debris flies down, so don't squeeze all the JB weld that you'll need in first time around. So it's totally okay to do it a little bit at a time. So I'm just mixing up a little badge just for one pin right now. Very tiny badge. Little puddle of black one. Little identical puddle to the white one. And mix. When it's the even consistency, you can definitely use it. Alright. Even consistency, clean plug. Yep, it's on. And now we're going to need to drive that in. I have a different square socket for this one, for these, because these are squares. So let's go in and drive this one in. Right. Squeeze this in the hole. And there it goes. Sorry. And don't forget, as you're putting some of these plugs in, they're starting to overlock the previous plug that was installed, because you partially drilled into the original plug. Try not to over tighten these, because what ends up happening is, as you put the next one in, if you actually do over tighten it, you end up increasing the gap on the previously installed ones. So don't go super tight. They all need to be pretty much tied to the same, to the even torque. All right, that's in. That'll be ready to be cut off. We're not going to do a cutting off now. Instead, we will actually go in and start overlapping. So, overlapping, meaning that we need to do a partial drill between two pins. So, right between two pins, right about here. We're going to drill right about there. Then we're going to clean off whatever was here. And we're going to need to go between those two pins. Oops, sorry. We're going to have to go between those two pins. So to go between those two pins, we need to do it right about here. Right between the pins. All right. Pins are also cast iron, so let's go in again. So we're drilling right between the two pins. All right. Sometimes pretty dangerous because it does stop the drill bit. Because you're hitting sharp pieces. All right, between two pins again. Right on through. All right. Blow it off. And since both of these are exposed, I don't need no sockets. I'm actually going to use a tap holder, which makes things easier. Right, all the way down and out. This one top down. So all right. Yes, cast iron repair is no fun at all, as you can see. All right, we had some JB Weld. More plugs. You go through a lot of plugs doing this repair. Lots of plugs. All right, there's that one. And that one, all right. So these are the ones that are overlapping the two previous plugs, and these are the ones that will lock the previous plugs in place. Alrighty. Most of this plug that I'm installing now is going to get cut off when we install a seat. Alright. So these are the last two plugs I'm going to cut off right now. I'll do all the other repairs, and hopefully you get the idea on how to repair this. I will show you the final finished product before we do any other repair on the cylinder heads. As you can see, cutting is not that hard. Yeah, we nicked it a little bit, but we're still putting a new seat in there. All right, that's out. That's out. Definitely won't fit inside there, so I need a different tool to fit in there. Alright, most of the way through. There it goes. Alright. Now it's pretty much cleaning up and getting everything done. So I will show you when all the plugs are in and area is cleaned up. Alright. Alright, so I just put in the last pin, cut it off, and it's still sticking up a little bit inside the port, but besides that, all the pins are in. And now there's pretty much no crack from here going all the way into the port. yes, there's another area to be worked on. That's around here. What happened here, not sure. Maybe put it on the stud and broke a little bit out. There's definitely a hole that doesn't belong there. It is definitely going into the cooler passage, so probably going to fix this last opening. Maybe fix that. But to be sure, I'm gonna take a look at the head gasket and see if this area can be left alone if I break out this little piece. If not, most likely I'll have to do 1, 2, and 1 in the middle pin. So putting 3 pins, 1, 2, 3. Besides that, I'm just gonna put 1 in here and then eventually fix that hole. But that's how you pretty much perform a crack repair on a cast iron head. Very time consuming.